Well, howdy, y'all. Hey, I've been watching videos, and I've seen some folks like Ty's Rides, which I really like his channel, talking about gravel rides and local things. And so I'm going to talk about one of my local rides here in Central Florida. Before I do that, I do want to touch on the Mid-South. I've had people ask me how I did. And the truth is, I had a DNF. I did not finish the race. I got almost to the halfway point before my bike totally imploded. Now, maintenance issues are my fault. But this case, the mud was just repressive, man. It was just repressive. I was covered from head to toe, and it was a mess. And so anyway, there's a couple pictures. You'll see my derailleur just dangling down there. The derailleur ended up into the spokes with the derailleur bracket, not the hanger. It's two parts on this Trek, something I was unaware of. I had a hanger, did not have the bracket, which is what actually broke. Ended up into the spokes, and my brakes were totally gone. Granted that I had to throw it in the truck and drive back to Florida from Oklahoma. By the time I got back, I ended up replacing the bearings in the rear hub, replacing the bottom bracket, obviously replacing the derailleur bracket, brake shoes on both the front and the back. And so anyway, with all that said, I got a DNF. Oh, did not finish. Anyway, that's all right. You know, the only disappointing thing for me is, you know, I've worked hard to lose a lot of weight, about 150 pounds, and just as I was starting to race, this was the first gravel race I'd ever signed up for, they all stopped. So I got to live with my last effort being a did not finish. Anyway, let me get back to one of my local rides here. This is at the Three Forks Marsh area here in Florida, just a few miles from the beach, and runs along the St. Johns River. Wonderful area. I'm going to talk about that, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to grab a guitar here and play a little bit of music for you. This is kind of my own DIY gravel race, gravel event, if you will. I'm going to call it the Stick Marsh Mosey. This is my Garmin. This is it's actually about 52 miles as the Garmin's showing it there. You'll see that the trailhead is just west of Melbourne, just west of the 95. And I think I got it. There we go. Yeah, you take right before you get to the St. Johns River, you're going to take a left-hand turn if you're coming that direction, and go down this little road. There's a little airboat place down here at the bottom of it, but the parking lot for the trailhead's right there, and you'll notice that parking lot is empty. I don't know why. People don't seem to get out here as much as I would think they would, with as much wonderful riding as there is. So you leave the parking lot, and you're just going to go up. Well, you get just a little bit of pavement here, maybe a few feet, and then you go up this here drive through the gate, and you're ready to go on and start your gravel ride fun. So there we go. We're on the levee top, and just cruising. This little pump house here is about 2 miles in. Now, if I was going to have a race, just hold stop that. There you go. If I was going to have a race, this is where I'd put maybe the start banner. Let people gather around, you know. And since all I ever really see out there is animals, I'll just put some animals waiting to start the race. Boom. Have some otters watching us. I usually see them about 3.5 miles in, if I see them. And then your first turn, you're going to come on uphill. And yeah. You're going to turn. Sometimes I sneak over the bridge to make sure there's not a gator down there, but you're going to want to turn and head west again, and come around this corner. You're getting to some parts where you might run across a few big gators coming up. There's a little pump house here in the middle, and off to the right-hand side, there's often some gators hanging out down there. Yeah, there we go. And let's see what else here. Just cruising, enjoying the scenery. All right. Now you're going to come up here to a corner. We're going to come around a corner, and here a little thing I call the twin ponds or whatever. And I almost always see gators here. hanging out, not doing nothing. In fact, this day, I filmed this over 2 days because my battery went dead on the first day. So on this day when I was here, I happened to see a gator there in the pond. You know, I was trying to zoom in here. There he is. Yeah. And he's a little one, but here, I don't know, last fall I caught a picture of this guy. He was about 12 foot, I think. And he was just hanging out there, watching what's going on. Then we're going to continue on, head back south again. We're going along this pretty deep canal just over on the other side of those trees. And this particular section can get a little buggy. A lot of dragonflies and such hanging out. In fact, here in a minute, I'm going to pause this. You'll see there's a bee right down on my leg, man. What is that doing? And so you kind of got to pay attention to what's going on. I seen this here gator walking down there. That's an older one. I shot that last year. And then, let's see, cottonmouth. I see this time of year, I see these guys occasionally. Not often, but when I do, I make sure I avoid them greatly. Then I'm going to come down and we're going to head over to the Malabar Trailhead. If you're going to meet up with somebody, maybe you want a little longer ride, you can meet them here at the Malabar Trailhead. When you get to the trailhead, you're about 9.5 miles into your ride, something like that. And it's really pretty down here. Lots of water. Also here at the trailhead, you'll find that they have some bathrooms, just concrete buildings, but just a hole in the ground. So nothing fancy, but a place where you can go if you're bashful and you need to go there. And there's a little picture of the sign. And we're going to leave the Malabar Trailhead, and you'll see we're going to take a right-hand turn out of the parking lot. Here we go, out the parking lot, through this here little gate. Wide enough to ride through. Put it nice. And now you're heading on down. Beautiful, beautiful stuff down in here. Look at that. I usually stop somewhere, take a picture of my bike, something like that. Oh, there's some ducks. There's some crazy bird I seen down there. And then, of course, we have the sandhill cranes. They're always out near the levee top. And then now this little piece of video I shot early this spring when the chicks were hatchlings and they're running around. And then I shot this just the other day. This is a big old gator carrying a turtle across the levee top. I paced that levee top off and it was about 12 foot wide there. So I give you an idea how big that thing was. And you turn along a real deep canal, and boy, there's some big gators in there all the time. There's a canal, and so it's pretty spectacular. And you're going to come around the corner here. There'll be a shelter. It'll pop here up on the left-hand side of your upper left-hand side of your screen. There's a little shelter there in case somebody was to get stuck out there. I think mostly for boats. And then you're on a bridge. At this point, you're about 18 miles in when you get to this here bridge, 18.5 miles in, something like that. And this is a place where I usually stop and, maybe have a little snack and drink a little water and just enjoy the scenery. There's that turn right there. And then sometimes I'll take a natural break here at the at the bridge. Not on the bridge. There you go. Yeah, natural break. Yeah, I know what that is. We cut from there. And then on this point, there's a lot of water, man. A lot of water. You're heading pretty much straight south at this point. And you're going to come down and turn. You'll head back east. And it'll kind of guide you around. You'll see you turn, and then you turn again and head south again. That's like a propane tanks or something under that little house there that you see. But you're going to come back past that, but right now you don't go there. Turn the corner and you're up here at this, down close to the Felsmer Gate. And you'll see that little pump house there was the one we just went by. And then you go by this beautiful canal and waterway. Oh man, it's gorgeous. Big, big water, lots of birds, lots of gators. Just really spectacular scenery down here. It's really nice. I really like it. And at this point, you're probably about 25 miles in. Then you're going to come up, make a turn into the Felsmer Grade recreations area. They got bathrooms there, so you can stop and use the bathroom. But again, there's no shops or anything, so you can't get no water. You're stuck with what you can carry. And always lots of birds down here. It's pretty spectacular. And then I always make it a point to ride over the locks just to kind of check that out. The locks there, let water in and out. And it's usually there's fishermen down here alongside. But at this point, you're about 28 miles in, or 28 miles from where you left your car, vehicle, whatever you had. And like I said, there's bathrooms down at the end of that parking area there. There's lots of boat ramps, and pretty cool. For some reason today, there was a lot of vultures hanging around. Look at that. Maybe they thought I was going to pass out or something. So beyond this gate here, you can go on down. I've gone maybe 20 miles south of this gate, and still on the gravel, still just beautiful. Lots of big water down here, and got some really neat pictures of birds down here. You're not as close to the gators here as you are in other places, but just spectacular scenery. I got a nice shot of a bald eagle. Look at that. Got a bald eagle in there. And so anyway, we're going to turn around here and start heading back to the car now. And we're going to go back just a little bit different. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. That's swampy, man. That's a swamp. So we're going to head back around. We'll go back over the locks. And then instead of turning the way we came in, we're going to go pretty much straight across here. And take a little bit of a different view, a little bit of a loop. There you go. We're just going to go to the T.M. Goodwin Wild Waterfowl Viewing Area, I guess is what they call it. So we're going to go straight down. Now this is going to lead you back to where you came from. So here we go. This is again a lot of birds and stuff down here. It's pretty cool. Now that will eventually come back around, and that's the place where we made the turn, and we're going to head back north again. And airboat's going by. Look at that airboat. I was going about 18 miles an hour. He just blew past me, man. Just blew past me. And then look at this guy here. This is the other stuff you see. This turtle now. He's right off the trail, and he's about the size of a hubcap. He's a pretty good sized turtle. And I don't know if he's digging a nest for some eggs, or if she's he or she, whatever. I don't know what a turtle is. Yeah, whatever that turtle's doing there, or just saying don't get close, and I didn't. So anyway, get back on the bike here in a second. Look at him, look at me like that. And then we're going to head south. Now we're going to go back over that bridge again, and there's the bridge, and it's got that little shelter over there in case you got stuck out here. And on this day, it was pretty cloudy. A bit of a chance, but I actually made it in on this day. I have been caught out there in the weather. And we're going to ride back down that deep canal. And again, big gators, beautiful birds. Just, it's pretty spectacular. Look at that bird. Look at that bird going there, doing his thing. Yeah, it's just pretty spectacular stuff. I think we're probably about 38 miles in, something like that. Maybe not quite 38, 35 miles in. Look at that big bird. Yeah. And then this will curve back around. Now you've been all along this. Look at that deer. There's a deer right over there on the left-hand side. Oh, there he sees me. He gets up. He goes. He's gone. He's jumping into the woods, into the swamp there. And you get to see a lot of that. Now we're back at the Malabar Trailhead. And this time we're not going to come back the way we came. We're going to take a turn here, and this time we're going to turn right, and then we're going to veer to the left. Take a right and veer to the left. Head on back home at this point. And here you're about 7.5 miles from where you parked your car. And again, this is about as much pavement as you're going to see on this ride. So we're going to veer to the left, then we'll go through another little gate up in here somewhere. And then we just head on back. Enjoy the scenery. Going along here, you got about 4 ponds we're going to go alongside of here that we didn't see on the way out because it's different direction. And you can see the clouds are starting to build. And then we're coming up on, I'm going to show you, this is one of the main obstacles. Look at that wind. There's nothing to block the wind on the levee, and on this day it was pert near 20 miles an hour headwind. So I needed somebody to draft on, so I just imagined I had a few fellow riders to draft off of them. So now we're going to go over that bridge, and again, when we go over the bridge, I always look off to my right hand side, and sometimes there's a big old gator down in there, a big fat guy. He's huge. And so we'll go over the bridge. Now we're coming up on the King of the Mountains. This is the steepest hill you will climb in this whole 52-mile ride. Careful now. It must be at least 30 foot long. I don't know, maybe a 8-foot rise. I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous. Anyway, that's your steepest climb all the way in. Now coming back, by the way, I should have told you there's a lot of these little spur trails that you can take to make it, change it up a little bit from time to time. And down in these woods here, I often will see wild hogs and deer and other things cruising in and out. And we're coming up to the gate where we came in. At this point, you're about 52 miles in, 52 and a half. And you just cruise to the gate, and you'll notice that parking lot is still empty. It's still empty because nobody, and this is the second day because you can see the blue skies. And here we go. That's pretty much it.
Well, you wake up in the morning, hear that ding dong ring, you stumble to the table, see the same old thing. Oh yeah, no meat in the skillet, baby, just beans in the pan. You better not complain, son, be in trouble with the man. Let the midnight special shine a light on you. Let the midnight special shine its ever-loving light on you. Let the midnight special shine a light on you. Let the midnight special